Check one. We're good. We're live. Hey.
Howdy.
We're here today with Mary Beth Pfeiffer, and she's a rock star for a lot of reasons.
Oh, yeah. Because I have coffee, that's why.
It's true. Well, coffee
Cheers.
time. Cheers. Well,
and I have coffee house on mine.
Bump. There we go.
Long distance cheer.
Nicole, do you have a hot drink?
No. It's fine. I don't drink coffee. It's fine.
Doesn't
What
have
about
to be
tea?
coffee.
It's
Hot
effort.
chocolate?
It's fine.
Yeah,
Hot
it's
water?
effort. There's zero effort. You get a 0 for effort.
That's fine.
Oh.
Okay, That's
Tough
mean.
crowd.
Anyways, guys, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you can join us. And we're going to kick back with a nice cup of coffee. At least two of us will be.
Yep.
And we're going to have a little conversation.
I had
So-
soda this morning, but then I dropped it all outside on my pants.
What's soda? Like,
Soda pop.
I had Coke.
Hmm.
No, Coca-Cola. Sorry. My mom watches this. No!
She really wasn't using Coke as in the drug Coke.
Nope. It was
So-
so
No,
Choice
we're
for
not-
me, drug free.
It was so sad.
drug free is the way to be.
Just
Yep.
picked it up and then I guess I just squeezed it or something. On the side of my car, and I was just like, this is great Monday.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Sounds like you got a case of the Mondays.
I got a case of the Mondays.
You dropped your soda. I overslept.
Adam, you good?
Actually, I'm feeling okay right now.
Yeah.
But the day is still young.
It's only 1
So,
o'clock.
Mary Beth, what is your title and what do you do?
I am the parish office supervisor, and I oversee maintenance, purchasing of supplies for the parish, not for the school, just the parish, which the school is part of the parish, but they do their own ordering. I'm kind of out of the loop with them. Do data entry in the parish database, and whatever else Father Leon and other people ask me to do.
Yeah.
It's all about teamwork.
And you're a rather new addition to the team. So,
I started in December, yes.
yeah. So, how's your time been here at St. Greg's?
Awesome. I died and went to work heaven.
Woohoo!
Wow!
This is the place to be.
Yeah! Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hey, for all of you future aspiring youth ministers who are like, I wonder if I should apply to be a St. Greg's youth minister.
Absolutely.
See? St. Greg's is the place to be.
Two thumbs up.
Hey. So what did you do before this?
Before this, I worked for 25 years in student life at DeUval College. So I oversaw clubs, organizations, worked with student government. And prior to that, I actually taught in Catholic schools for 16 years. 2 at Annunciation Elementary School on the west side of Buffalo. And then the remaining 14 years, I was at St. John the Baptist in Kenmore, arch rival in athletics with St. Gregory's. I remember those days when we used to go boo Cougars, but I'm not saying that anymore.
That'd be awkward.
No, that would be horribly awkward. I taught
Change
junior high,
jerseys.
science and health.
Oh.
See, she understands middle school life.
Oh, yeah.
It's
It's a great
Right.
age group.
right? I gripe all the time about middle school stuff. Not like bad, but I'm like, hey, Beth, these kids. And she's like, I know. I feel you.
Yep.
It's great.
I feel the joy. I feel the pain.
Whoop, whoop.
It's, both worlds. You have days you're like, what? And then you have days you're like, yes, this is great.
Yep.
It's that ministry life, though.
That ministry life.
And education life.
Well,
It is.
Oh, that's cool.
They both
Yeah.
work together quite well.
Yeah, it's all true. So, just before we were hopping on here, you were starting off your conversion story.
Ah, yes. I was raised Protestant in the United Church of Christ, which, for those of you that don't know, there are 642 different Protestant denominations. I call that chaos and confusion. When I was actually I should sideways a little bit, half my family is Catholic. My dad's dad was Catholic, so I have half a whole side of the family tree which is of that faith. I have a cousin who's a nun, and I was always kind of curious about, why is half my family Catholic? Why am I Protestant? why don't we get to go to church with Grandpa? So when I was in college, I decided to investigate what the Catholic Church was all about. I did have a lot of experience with youth ministry growing up because we were the only Protestant family on our entire city block. So I did a lot of Friday nights of, back then it was called CYO. And
I know what that is, by the way.
Catholic Youth Organization.
Yeah. It's great.
I'm on it. So yeah, I was in college and I thought, I just want to learn more about my grandfather's roots and my cousins and what they're all about with their faith journey. So I went through RCIA at the college, and at the end of the process, I was in a class with 12 other college students. And at the end, Sister Barbara Quinn, Father Bob Pirelli ran it, and they said, okay, so at this particular Mass, right before we go on Easter break, you guys are all going to come into the Catholic Church. And I just went, not me. And they were like, what? What do you mean, not you? And I said, well, I just wanted to learn more about the faith. And they said, you're not converting? I go, nope, I'm good right where I am. Thanks very much. I'll come to the service, though, to support my peers. But no, I'm okay being Protestant.
Wow.
And they were like, you were so challenging. How could you not convert? And I felt bad because I thought they meant challenging in a bad way. And I said, oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to make your lives miserable. And they went, oh, no, challenging in a good way because you pushed us and stretched us to research stuff that we hadn't thought about since we studied the catechism. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's not a bad thing then. Fast forward to the age of 38, and I said, the church I was raised in had closed. And I just was church shopping, and every church I went to, I just kept coming back to the Catholic Mass, back to the Catholic Mass. And finally I said, this is crazy. Catholic Church is home. This is where I need to be. This is where I want to be. So by then I was working at the college full time, and I said to our director of campus ministry, Father Tony Rigoli, Father Tony, I want to change churches. And he laughed and said, you don't need my help, just tell your parish priest. I looked at him and I go, what parish priest? I'm Protestant. And he said, what? You come to Mass every day. I said, I know, I love the Eucharist. Can't receive it, but I still love it because I know I'm in the presence of God. And he said, okay, well, we'll put you through RCIA. And I said, could I get just the refresher course? Because I already went through the process before. And he said, oh, okay, well, let me look that up. So he checked out records at our chapel on campus and said, you did. We'll do a refresher course. So, at the age of 40, which I'm really not that old, I came into the Catholic Church on my birthday, and exactly 24 years after I had made my confirmation in the Protestant faith. So it was really kind of crazy how it all fell on the same day. So what an awesome birthday gift to me.
Now, you mentioned that you loved the Eucharist. How did you come to that? What is it about it that drove you to it? Because I know a lot of Protestant denominations certainly don't see it as a literal piece of Jesus, right? So was it like a slow roll into the Catholic faith, or was there like an aha moment where you're like, wow, that's the Eucharist, that's Jesus?
Well, the saying, God writes with crooked lines. I think I was always on that path and on that line and just zigzagging around. Because even when I was a kid, in our particular denomination, we did not believe that it was truly the presence of Jesus. It was a symbol, if you will. And I never believed that. I would just sit there and say, that's not a symbol, that's Jesus. Not knowing that a Protestant minister didn't really have the ability for that to happen. And my parents used to say, well, no, that's a symbol. And I'd say, no, that's really Jesus. And they'd say, no, that's not Jesus, that's a symbol. So I think there was a part of me that always was really bonded that way. And years later, actually, I think the answer to why I felt that way came from my mom when she was telling me that when she was pregnant with me, she was actually threatening to miscarry. And that would have been a huge loss for my parents because I had had two older brothers that had already passed away. So I would have been the third child that they would have lost. The two brothers passed away after they were born, but so my grandpa used to come on his day off from work. He owned his own butcher shop, and Wednesdays he was closed. He would come every Wednesday and pray the rosary with my mom for a safe pregnancy, for her not to miscarry, and that I would be born healthy. So when I was born, the name Mary came from the Blessed Mother, actually.
Wow.
And Beth was kind of like a traditional female name on my mom's side of the family. So I think there was always just that unique connection, you know? And I take it back to in the womb. I mean, when your grandpa's praying the rosary for you to come out okay, it's all good.
Wow.
You get a little pull.
Mm-hmm.
You get a help,
Yeah.
a little.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. And then I'd go to mass with my friends in the neighborhood, and I'd think, I still want to go to communion. I so want what they have. But I don't think it ever really just clicked into place until much later in life. I think the signs were there, but it's kind of like blinders, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You sense it, but you really don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Were your parents surprised? Were they around for when you?
Yes, yeah.
Wow. So what did they say about it?
They were really cool with it. I was pretty nervous telling them, and I sat them down and I said, "So I've got some news to share," and their immediate thought was, "Please don't tell us you're taking a job out of state." No, I'm not doing that. I'm becoming Catholic. And my mom looked at me and said, "I'm not the least bit surprised." And my dad was a big guy and not one to really, very huggy, but not one to really show any other emotions. And he immediately got teary-eyed and said, "Oh, your grandfather would be so proud."
Oh.
Yeah. I get a little teary-eyed thinking about that moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It was awesome. So then I told them, I said, well, and in the Catholic Church, you got to take a confirmation name. So they said, oh, what name did you pick? And I said Francis, because my grandfather was Frank. It was the closest I could get to
Frank.
Yeah, doing a tribute to him. So yeah, they were ecstatic, actually. They were pretty happy and excited.
Wow. That's amazing.
Not all the family was.
The Protestant side, I'm guessing, was it?
Well, my godmother was not real happy, but my godfather was cool with it. He was like, you know what? It's just important that you have a relationship with God, whether it's in the Catholic Church or it's staying in your Protestant faith. He said, as long as you're close with God, I'm fine with it. My godmother adjusted over time.
Wow. So that's an awesome story. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Wow. And so now you're working for the church. At the church, here you are.
Yeah.
Like
It's just
front
the best.
lines, headquarters, right in the neural center in the parish office. And now, how is it being on the other side of? I don't say maybe the other side, but
The behind the scenes
The behind
of
the
the church.
scenes, yeah.
Like the behind the lines.
yeah.
Behind the lines. I think I'd have to say that I'm amazed at how cradle Catholics, people born and raised in the church, don't appreciate the gift that they have in their Catholic faith. It's mind-boggling to me how people get hung up on stuff that is on a personal level instead of realizing, you know what, the Mass is the culmination of everything that Jesus did and God did for us. Don't get caught up on personalities of, you know, so-and-so when he gives a homily. We're in 12 minutes, really? Can he wrap it up here? Embrace that moment. don't be so occupied with looking around and not being focused on what's happening. And another funny thing I find is the number of people in Catholic churches that sit in the back of the church. First time I went to Mass after I was Catholic, I was so excited to be able to really receive communion with my friends. And I come walking in the church, they're walking behind me, and I'm walking, and all of a sudden, you know how you have that sense, wait, I'm walking by myself. And I turned and I stopped and I looked. They're sitting in the back of the church and they're gesturing like this. And I'm walk back and I go, what are you guys doing way back here? They go, well, that's kind of a Protestant thing to sit up close to the front. And I laughed. I said, that's where the food is. I go, when your friends invite you over for dinner, do you eat on the front porch? Or do you go sit at the table?
That's prime seating up there.
You know, don't be on the porch, people. Come on, come to the table. So get right up front. Be as close to Jesus in that preparation moment before you receive him. And I just sometimes wonder if people really, I think maybe they're too accustomed and too comfortable, and they don't see the beauty and the gifts of the faith.
Mm. Mm-hmm. And what would you say some of the beauty and the gifts are of the faith?
Peace.
What was that?
Peace.
Peace.
Peace in the midst of chaos. Some days, you know, I come in here, not so much now because nobody's around, but
before.
Well, you guys are here, yes.
Yeah.
The beautiful people are here.
In Maui.
Yes.
We're
in
Maui.
Yes.
We'll come to that in a second.
You know, chaos would be, you know, people would be coming in, I want this Mass, and what do you mean I can't have this Mass intention on this particular day, and getting all agitated and whatnot. And I think, why y'all getting so agitated, you know? It's a Mass. It's a gift. We'll get it figured out. Or people would come in and be cranky about something, and I'd just sit there and think, life's too short to be that unhappy, people. And when you got God in the center of your life, what is there to be all stressed and anxious about? Mm-hmm. That's what I love coming to work here. There's a sense of peace. I know I walk in that parish office and I bless myself with the holy water, clock in and go, wow, it is so good to be working for God.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
I mean, yeah, it's true. Like, we work for God. That's what we do. It's so much more when you work at a parish than just like a job.
Oh, it is.
You know what I mean? Like it's like you're part of a mission. Mm-hmm. No matter what you do at a parish, you're part of the mission.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Each one of us should do a very specific mission at this parish.
And at the end of the day, it's all for you guys, for God's people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. Mm-hmm. Hey, we're here for you. And speaking of, if you have any questions, we would love to answer them too. So whatever you got, throw out some questions. We'd love to bat those around too. So if you got them, hit up that chat. And hi, Teresa. Hi, Mary Florence. Good to see you guys. Glad you're on. And we'll just keep rolling here with a little chat. Now,
should probably explain what Maui is.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So for years, we've called this side of the campus the island, right? We're kind of out there. We're out on the island.
Mary Beth changes every time.
Yes, but Mary Beth came up with a really good, we'll call it a stage name for over here. You know, a new analogy.
We are newly named.
Newly named, revised.
We are not the island. Because, why are we not the island?
Because we're all one family. We're all one team. We're all part of one big community. I call this the parish campus, or AKA Hawaii, the Hawaiian Islands. This is Maui because it's the place where all the fun and action is. It's where everybody wants to be. They can dance. I'll just drink my coffee.
Okay, sounds good.
My Maui cocktail, black coffee.
We can give that all day. You've got a lot of coffee.
Yeah,
I know. I like your selection too.
Right?
Oh, you need some Hawaiian coffee.
Ooh.
I'll get some for you.
Okay.
It's got to be out there somewhere.
I'm in.
Well, you got to get it in a K-cup because we.
Oh yeah,
okay.
K-cups. They make everything in K-cups now. Hot chocolate,
The
white
Hawaiian
chocolate,
brand.
black chocolate.
What do we got? We got questions.
Yeah. Julia asks, Mary Beth, are there any church teachings you found particularly difficult to grasp when entering the Catholic Church? Also, she loves your story, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Good question.
That is an awesome question. Any church? Honestly, no. I really was good with all of them because I think my mindset was always in line with that. It's how, even though my parents weren't raised Catholic, I always felt like we were more of a Catholic household than a Protestant one. They were church every Sunday, grace before meals. We all knelt down to say our bedtime prayers, and we often prayed together as a family, not just at dinner time, but before bedtime. So yeah, and the whole pro-life, always been that way.
Yeah, pro-life is not just Catholic people.
Oh,
just so you all know.
No. That is not just a Catholic thing, for sure. There are people of all faiths, and some people that don't believe in God, but they believe in life. Mm-hmm. No, really, there hasn't been one teaching that I wasn't totally on board with.
Yeah. Actually, I remember when you guys went to the March for Life, like 3 years ago, whatever.
Oh, so jealous. Someday I want to go.
I want to go too.
Yeah.
We got 2 chaperones. Okay, so
sign up. We're going.
Let's do it right now. Right? I'm just kidding. We can't right now. But I remember I was watching you guys like on the news or something. Like they like live streamed the march, or I don't even remember. And I'm watching it and I see all of these signs for like other religions. And I remember it's like Lutherans for life.
Yeah.
Jewish something. They had some funny catchphrase for life. And I'm like, what? Like it had all of these religions that like, yeah, Ooh. It was crazy. It kind of blew my mind. I was like, oh, see, it's not just a Catholic thing.
You know what? I will sidebar back to that question about, and this isn't something that I disagreed with in the Catholic Church, but I will say when I compare Catholic confirmation classes with Protestant, guys are a little on the weak side. My confirmation classes ran for 2 years. I mean, they were really, really intense, and you really learned about the history. And I'm not an expert on this, but the people I do know that have gone through confirmation class, I thought it was a little weak. Now, granted, they weren't people from St. Greg's either, so that could vary from parish to parish, but there seemed to be a whole lot of emphasis on volunteerism. But when I would fire off questions to them, based on material I learned in the catechism, they'd look at me and say, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I don't know, I think you need to understand your history to be really grounded.
Yeah. I mean, and the Catholic Church has a very long history.
Yes.
Of stuff. I mean, that's why it should take 2 years. I'm just kidding. But like, it's like a long history. That's a lot of information to pack. 15-year-old trying to remember all that.
Oh yeah,
in 1 year.
It's a lot.
I mean, yeah.
And I look at, Protestant faith that came way, way later, especially the church I was raised in, United Church of Christ, that didn't come about until the 1700s, and it was 2 years of learning. So, yeah. And the other cool thing I liked about it was we learned about all faiths. We learned about the Jewish faith and went to temple for services. We learned about the Catholic faith and went to a mass. We learned about the Baptist tradition, went to a Baptist church. So you really kind of experienced everything. And I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, that's unique. Very interesting. Ooh. What's that? We got a question here.
Mary Florence says many things.
What do we got?
She says, yay, someday I want to go so bad. I think that's the March for Life.
Probably.
She also says, yeah, that is so true. If it weren't for SGYM stuff, I wouldn't have the faith I have or be ready for confirmation.
Oh, how about that?
That's awesome. Woohoo.
I remember when she was a 5th grader.
Yes.
Well, shout out to you guys.
Yeah, wow.
I'm actually
Mary
going to hold my
Florence.
coffee cup and applaud you two.
Oh,
keep up the good work.
Hey.
It's all God, all the Holy Spirit leading us
That's
exactly
awesome.
what we're supposed to be doing.
That's true.
That's what ministry is. Just using
Yep.
us as an instrument. Like,
Amen.
it's not about us. Not at all.
It's all true. Popping back to the March for Life for just a second. I am hoping that we get back there soon. We couldn't go this year, but hopefully, well, it's tough to predict this coming year, but hopefully this coming year we can make that happen. I'd love to be able to get back there. We've gone a lot of times, but it is a powerful experience to be out there, and you do see a broad swath of people out there. But I would say that one of the strongest contingents out there is the Catholics that are out there.
Sure.
You know, and that's a really cool thing, especially when you're out there with just the massive mass. If you go to the youth rallies, you know,
It just seems so powerful.
It is.
In such unity.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we're coming together for a common cause, you know, to elicit change. And I think that's one of the cool things about being in a free society is that we can do that. You know, Catholics around the world, other various places would never be able to do something like that to affect change in society. So we're super blessed to be able to do that, and it is a powerful experience. So hopefully we can get back to doing that this year. That would be cool.
I want to go so bad.
Count me in.
Yes, we got our chaperones.
Female chaperones. Woo! And I gotta make sure your vert is trained, but you know.
I am.
I figured.
I am.
What do we got from Phil?
We got a lot of things. Okay, so Mary Florence continues. She says, "Y'all taught me everything I know." With a smiley face and a heart.
Wow.
That's so nice. My heart's so finger. Okay. And then Kristen Filk says, "To be honest, it's a lot of volunteer hours to submit for confirmation. If I was not willing to dedicate myself to learning more about the faith, I wouldn't think I'd be ready, like Mary Florence said."
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
And then Teresa says, "If you go on the March for Life this year, I will with you. Julianne."
Awesome. Cool.
We got people.
Yeah, we got people.
We got people.
We got peeps.
Yeah, we got peeps. Cool. I like that. So maybe if I can change gears here for a second, because I'm admiring your sweatshirt.
Yes.
Alaska. Did you
Yes.
go to Alaska?
Heck no.
Oh.
Friends of mine brought this back from Alaska for me because they were gone for 3 weeks and I stayed at their house and took care of their dog.
Awesome.
So I got the jacket. A friend of mine just moved to Alaska, keeps saying, you got to come, you got to come. I got to be honest, Alaska is kind of at the bottom of my bucket list of places to go. A, they have bears. B, they have moose. C, it's never really hot and warm.
It's cold. It's always cold.
I mean, sorry guys, 70 is not my idea of great warm weather.
Do you like to travel? Are you a traveler?
I didn't used to be, but I've kind of gotten the bug, so yeah. Although I did do a cross-country trip after I graduated from college. Drove with one of my college friends from Buffalo all the way out to Seattle, Washington.
Wow.
If you guys ever can do a cross-country trip, do it. Highly recommend it. There is nothing better than getting in a car and seeing the beauty of God's creation.
You know, I've done that trip twice. Just this more southern route to California. And man, I love going out west. I want to take the kids. Like right now we're doing a county park. Little check off. So I got a little map of the county parks and they have a little passport that you can check off your county parks. 22 parks. And I have it tacked up on a board at home. A little test run, but the lifelong dream here is to be tacking off all of the state and national parks. I got a few of the nationals under my belt, but to do it with the family is going to be awesome. Just start.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Just get a nice map of all those things. Oh, it's going to be awesome.
I think I got out of the travel bug as a kid because I was the only girl amongst 3 boys. And when we'd take road trips, my little brother would fake being car sick so he could sit in the front seat. I was in the back seat between my 2 older brothers who loved to sprawl all over me and elbow me. And that was the days before air conditioning in cars. So the air conditioning was 55 is what we called it. You rolled down the windows And yeah, after family vacations every year, 2 weeks of road trips here, there, everywhere, visiting family and whatnot. Yeah, I just bleh. But then I got back into it when I didn't have to share the back seat with my older
You
siblings.
had some room to spread out.
Yes, I had breathing room, as I used to call it.
A little more air conditioning.
Yes.
I've been to Las Vegas. Is that the West? That's Las
Yeah.
Vegas once. That was a trip. Oh my gosh, I was a little overwhelmed.
That was
Everything's
very
so
overwhelming. I've
big.
been there.
I'm like, what is happening? I was there for like 3 to 4 days, and I was like, this is so big. And then my uncle took me, because he moved to Las Vegas. He took me around town. I'm like, everything's still big, even when we're out at the strip. What is happening? It was a lot. It was a lot. It was very
sensory overload.
right.
Yeah.
Las Vegas is a sensory overload.
It was hard to find a peaceful place there.
You don't. My hotel
Yeah.
room was what was peaceful. I was like, what?
My hotel room, the fitness center, and when I went to Mass. All the rest of the time, it was just like chaos.
Right?
I loved Las Vegas. I loved it.
I still don't know how I feel about it. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, there's definitely a scuzzy component to it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's way too easy to just put your eyes on something that you shouldn't be. You know, it's way too easy to be doing that. My dad took us when we were kids. I was probably heading into high school when he took us on our first cross country one. Las Vegas was the stop there. We stayed at the Flamingo.
You stayed at the Flamingo?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was awesome. And I mean, the pool there was just incredible. And so, like, as a kid, you know, I mean, we're not running around doing like we're not doing any of this stuff, but we're just hanging out at the pool. You know, and the pool was incredible. And you get to go, and you know, you see all the big buildings and everything. You're like, wow, this is really cool. As a kid, it's all, the arcades were incredible. So as a kid, it was like it was awesome.
I saw Cirque du Soleil there.
Oh, which one did you see? I saw the
water
Beatles.
one. It's called O. It's like in the water.
Oh,
It's really insane. So I don't even know how they do this, but they've got on the bottom is like a pot, like a whole pool of water, right? And they like move pieces in the water, like on and like, so the water thing sometimes is actually a platform, and then they'll slowly sink people into the water. Like, it's crazy. This one girl, it was very high up too. She was balancing on her head on like one of those swinging things, just flying over everybody. I was like, what the heck?
Oh, that just kind of made me weak in the knees thinking about it.
Cirque du Soleil is an experience. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
wow.
it was. Mine
It was
the
amazing.
Beatles, all set to Beatles music. It was mind-boggling.
They're so good.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
I haven't seen them. Like, I've seen like little clips.
Yeah.
You know, like on YouTube, but I've never seen them live.
You have to see it live. Like, it's a way different feeling. I was like, wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's kind of expensive, but it's not. It's really worth it. I say it's worth it.
I got to go for free because they were trying to sell us timeshares, so it was free tickets and dinner out. I was like, huh, yeah, okay. I had no intention of getting a timeshare, but
They
Sure.
grill you.
Oh, yeah.
Man, they work you. We did one for our honeymoon. I tacked on an extra 3 days onto our honeymoon because of one of those packages. So, like,
Yeah.
for $100, you can get 3 days or like 4 nights, 3 days, you know, just outside of Disney World. I'm like, this is good. This is perfect. All right, I'm taking it. And we had to sit down for one of those meetings. And wow, I thought I was in like North Korea. I mean, they were like,
they
were
don't know how to
grilling me.
take no for an answer.
They don't, you know.
So how'd you get them to end the conversation?
Oh, I held firm with. I mean, they said it was going to be half an hour, right? They're like, half an hour. That's all you have to do is just show up for the pitch. We'll see if you're interested. And they kept it really like laissez-faire. They're like,
Yeah.
just half an hour of your time. It was like 2.5 hours by the time we actually left. And
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I was giving them straight no's, you know. I was being polite because I know that they gave us,
Right.
you know, kind of a sweet deal. But man, they wanted it. They wanted that sale.
They want it.
Yeah. I was like, look, I'm a youth minister.
I was just going to say, you finally have to pull that trump card of, let me tell you where I work.
Let me tell
I
you,
make like
worked-
$10 a month, people. You know, and they're like, I don't believe
my
that.
line was, I'm a Catholic school teacher. I own a car. That's all I own. That's it. That's all I
solid,
can afford.
right?
This is
And
the
then
only
they just
trip I'll
looked at
ever,
me like,
ever have in my
oh.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one trip I was supposed to go on got canceled
Because
so mad.
of
Corona. supposed to go on literally
Corona.
in like, what is today's date? In 2 weeks. No,
27th.
2 weeks I was supposed to be going on a cruise to Bermuda.
Oh, cruise ship. Ugh. Germ City.
Well,
Just
what?
saying.
I've always wanted to go on a cruise. Always.
I'd go on one if it never left the dock. I think I watched the movie Titanic way too many times.
Yeah, I think so. So we're getting refunded all of it, so I'm just gonna scroll it away and be like, we're gonna go again. Everything. Because as a youth
Nicole's
minister,
ready.
like
She's ready.
I gotta scroll that away because it's not like I can.
Maybe we could just give you a little kayak, fill it with water, and let you splash around.
There it is. Yes. The farthest I've gone is Spain. Spain was sweet.
Whoa.
I studied when I was in college. I did a study abroad program in Spain for a whole month.
Nice.
I went to Seville or Sevilla, what they say in Spain. I stayed with a señora, and I was only allowed to speak Spanish when I was in the school. I took a Spanish. Stop it. No.
Por favor, manténganse alejados de las puertas. For you Disney fans at home, you'll appreciate that.
Please keep your feet away from the door. Or whatever.
Please stand clear of the door. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las puertas.
Yep. Or what's the other one you say?
El burro sabe más que...
L.
I'll be polite. L.
The
And all
donkey
I
knows
got
more
is-
than he.
No. All I can say is tengo tres hermanos. I have 3 brothers. That's the extent of my Spanish.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yo hablo español mucho, es mi idioma segunda.
We're in the same club. Nicole,
Well, what happened was when I studied abroad, I was in this program where you weren't allowed to speak English.
Oh,
Like, I mean, obviously, like, if I'm out and about, not near people that are part of the program, like,
I read
it
some text
doesn't-
messages and I think people can't speak English, so.
it didn't really matter. But anytime when I was in the class, like, I had to take a class when I was there, and I decided to take a history class on Seville, and it was in complete Spanish.
Oh, must have been pretty cool, though.
It was actually considered one of the advanced ones, because what you do is you get tested on your Spanish skills before you go, and they rank you on like what your like level was, and I was ranked like intermediate advanced, like that bubble. And
I'd have been much lower.
well, I
Elementary
decided
level, pre-K level. Pre-K level is probably
oh,
more level.
nice. I've always been really good at Spanish, like picking up Spanish. I mean, I'm not as good now because like I don't speak with people Spanish all the time. But
Could
by
speak with Adam. He'd have no clue what you were saying.
well, I
Could be fun.
literally just did this to
I
Joe.
could just do C, no?
Yeah.
C.
As Joe walked over, I asked him something, and he looked at me. He was like, I said it slow. He's like, I know. And then I said something else, and I said it, and I was like, oh, that was kind of fast. I'm sorry. Like, but before I went to Seville, I took like a lot of, like, I decided to add a minor in Spanish.
Gutsy.
Right before I was supposed to graduate. So instead of graduating, I ended up adding a minor and going to Spain. Instead of graduating on time with my
Wow.
undergrad. Well, that was interesting. But I was there for a month, and I stayed with the señora the entire time. I was in school. I ended up getting a B+ in the class, and that was insane to me.
Woo.
And you could only speak Spanish. I think the craziest thing that happened to me was I ended up getting like really sick in Spain. I got a sinus and ear infection, like 2 double ear infection and a sinus infection, like 2 weeks into me being there.
No bueno.
No bueno, no bueno.
Mm.
And I was so sick. I had to go up to the people like at the desk, and I had to try to explain to them like how I was sick. And like, I had no idea how to explain, like, I have
When
an
you
ear
go-
infection.
And as you throw up on the desk, then they
Exactly.
know you were sick.
That's
So
true.
they had to take me to like an urgent care, like their version. And like, I got to the urgent care, and
Was everybody sleeping?
no,
Was not siesta time.
it was not. Oh, that actually exists. Siesta time is real. I can go on that too. But I get into the clinic, and they're all very nice. I mean, but I'm like, they're all speaking fluent Spanish, and I'm just like, I don't feel good to speak English. And I get into the room, and the lady's like asking me, ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué duele? Like, you know, like what's going, like what hurts? And I'm like, and I like said like my ear, whatever, and she's like, okay. And then she looks into my like here, and before that, I got my tonsils out, and she was like, "Donde está your tonsils?" in like Spanish, and I had no idea what she was saying, and then I was like, "Oh," because I didn't know how to say surgery, so it was like a whole charades. It was great.
I like the
Because I tried to like explain, they cut it out. Like I don't.
Hey, you cut your tongue out? What does that mean? What did you cut out?
They cut my throat. They cut them out.
But it was definitely, like, Spain was a really powerful experience. I don't know, seeing a different culture than what you're used to, because in America we're so ocean locked. We don't see any other cultures, really. When you go to Spain, it's, like, completely different. I mean, they knew I was American. They kept calling me rubia and gringa every 2 seconds. They also, like, was really confused why I had red hair. They, like, petted my hair. That actually happened. It was weird.
Okay, that's a little creepy.
It was really weird, but it's okay. I kind of
go around touching other people's.
I was a redhead in Spain. They were like, "What the heck is happening?" But you know, church was actually really interesting. That's another tangent I could go on if you want.
A burro.
A burro. Okay. So mass.
I was just gonna say, what did you just say?
Donkey. All he knows is those two lines. A burro sabe más que él.
See?
Whatever. So, in Spain, I lived right near a cathedral, right? So you'd think that, like, me finding a mass would be super simple. It was the most difficult thing I've ever experienced, trying to find a mass. Because this cathedral was actually a tourist thing.
Oh.
So they did do masses there, but I could never find where the masses were because it was all just tourists going in and looking at the church. So the first week I went in, tried to find a mass. No idea.
Tourists?
Tourists.
Tourists.
Not
Keep going. I'm sorry.
Terrorists.
I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, you're in bigger trouble than finding a church.
So the first week, I couldn't find the actual service. Like, I found the building, whatever. So then the second week, I'm like, I got this. I'm going to find a church, whatever. In Spain, the roads aren't straight. Everything is, like, curvy and, like, in these alcoves. So I wandered the streets trying to find church. And I even used, like, the app, like, Catholic Mass Times or whatever. And I found them, but then, like, I'd go to these, like, cafes. I'm like, ¿Dónde está la misma? Which is, where is the Mass? Or ¿Dónde está el iglesia or whatever? And they looked at me and, where's the church? They'd look at me and they'd be like, you're too young to go to church. What? Yeah, no, seriously. They would say, you're too young. You go to church? What? Like, so confused. I get that so many times. So the second week, I eventually found a chapel. But in Spain, if you're late, they locked the door.
Oh, that would be a huge problem here.
St. Gregory the Late would be St. Greg's the outside.
We'd be hooking up speakers for people listening
Right?
to Mass in the parking lot.
So I'm standing outside the door and I'm like, are you kidding me right now? What? So I had to leave because it's like you couldn't really see in. Like I could sit there, but I couldn't see anything. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Third week, never found anything. So the last week I was there, I was like, you know what? This is it. I'm finding a church and I'm going to Mass. So I walk into that chapel or the cathedral that I'm near and I'm like, ¿Dónde está la misma? To like 5 people. And this one is like, aquí. And I was like, are you kidding me?
I know that. Here.
Yes. So she literally lifts up this rope. It's like you're a bouncer into a club and she's like, misma. And I was like, what?
So close and yet so far away.
Oh,
Are you on the list?
It was so frustrating. And I'm sitting there and I'm clearly the youngest person. It was crazy. And but it was one of the most beautiful services I've ever seen in my life. Because in Spain, they're so much older. Like, their churches are so much older and, like, have so much more, like, beautiful things. There was gold everywhere. And, like, the chalice the priest was using, I was just like, whoa. Because I'm used to St. Greg. I mean, I'm not saying St. Greg's is bad, but compared to Spain, it's like
it's
night and day. And, you know, I couldn't really keep up completely with what he was saying in Spanish because you think I talk fast. Holy cow. But I knew what was happening. I know it, like,
faster than you.
Yes. It's scary.
Whoa.
Like, I know, like, the body of Christ is el cuerpo de Cristo.
Faster.
What?
Say it faster.
Cuerpo de Cristo.
Faster.
No. And then the blood is la sangre de Cristo. So like I knew that, but I was like, I don't know how to say the Father, our Father, Nuestro Padre, and then I'm like, I don't know what to say next. I was like, I don't know what they're saying in the homily, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And then at the end of it, I had like 3 ladies come up to me, and they're like, oh, it's so nice to see young people in Mass. I was like,
well, maybe if they made it a little easier to find you.
Right? And they asked me like where I was from, and I said I'm from the United States, and like I'm a practicing Catholic, and they're like, but you're so young. They were so confused by like me going to Mass.
It's kind of interesting because if you're not going as a young person in Spain, what, you just get an epiphany when you hit 50?
I guess.
And you're thinking, am I closer to death now? Should I bond with God?
I think like in Spain, which I think is a lot of the European mentality, it's cultural Catholic. So like like for example, like when I got there, so I got there in January, 3 Kings Day is a big celebration in Spain. It's bigger than Christmas. Like it's insane. Where my senora lived, she lived like right on this main street and lived like the 2nd floor. And it's like 2 days after we get there, and this parade, like huge parade of the 3 kings, and they have these statues of Mary and Jesus and the 3 kings, and all of these people are there, but yet when I try to get to Mass, no one's there. It was like the weirdest thing I've ever experienced.
So we're all about the presents, but not the presents.
Exactly. I got a lot of chocolate that day. It was great.
You know, I hear a lot about what's happening over in Europe, especially for Catholics, and the churches are just museums, essentially. You know, the practicing Catholicism across Europe is just
plummeting.
Actually, it's not even just Catholics. I mean, it's
faith in general.
Faith in general.
Yeah.
You know, and that's too bad. But Life Teen's actually sending missionaries over there, which is interesting.
Really?
Yeah. No, they have they sometimes have camp in the UK.
Yep.
They'll bring camp there, like when
that's awesome.
Cove Crest, Hidden Lake, whatever. They have a version of that in the United Kingdom.
How cool is that?
And Spain. They actually have Spain missionaries as well. I never saw any of them, but they do have Spain missionaries.
I'm not gonna lie, that would be a pretty sweet missionary.
Can I go to Spain? Can I take a leave of absence? I'm just kidding.
Sure. Hey guys, we're hiring for 2 youth ministers now.
A leave of absence means I'm coming back. I need a sabbatical.
Sabbatical?
Oh. Well, okay.
I'll just pretend I didn't hear that.
What?
She needs a sabbatical, guys.
I'm kidding. I love you all. But it would be really cool to go to Spain and like it was so weird. Like I can never get over the look that I got from these people. And at that point I was 22. Like I was 22 years old. And it was just like they were so dumbfounded. No, I was 21. I was 21 years old because I went in January. Whatever. They were so dumbfounded. They were just like, what? It was just really weird. It was strange.
Did you call him El Burro?
No. Senora.
You know, I kind of wanted to see when we go to World Youth Day, it was just moved back here to 2023, which is in Portugal. But we'll scooch over into Spain. I'm going to take all the Spanish that I currently know.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm going to see how far I can
Please don't ever say El Burro.
El Burro! El Burro!
You're going to be such a gringo. Like.
No, see, if I can mix it all up.
Okay, so you guys make a note. You don't want to be with Adam when you're over in Portugal. Hang out with Nicole.
No, Spain. Don't.
El
I'll help
Burro
you.
sabe más que Dorito.
Doritos?
Burrito,
Are not even Spanish.
Dorito. A taco.
Oh, I like Doritos.
Oh, see,
Burrito.
see, I'm onto something. People will be following
Yeah.
along. Think I'm just going for lunch. Maybe everyone will be like, "Yeah, I like this guy." You know?
Oh, their paella is so good. And sangria, but whatever. Like their food is so good.
I just love
Tuesday? No, that's
No, they don't. No, wrong. Spain, they don't do tacos.
We'll do
No, that's Mexican.
They don't do tacos.
El burro.
In Spain, really, like paella and stuff like that's like a big deal. They do tapas. Like that's cool. Tapas is like it's like appetizers, but smaller.
There's a restaurant called Tapas.
Yes, there is.
There you go. That's my
Restaurant
There's a
reviews
restaurant.
by
The
Adam.
first day I was in Spain, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go live my best life. So I went and I found a little cafe and I sat down and I was like, paella. It just came in this little like iron can, and I was like, it was the best day ever. It was like, and I'm sitting there and it's nice
So
out.
has that been the high point of your life so far?
Spain or paella?
Paella.
Close, very close.
Mm.
It's so good. And they did have Starbucks, so that was
Bueno?
funny. Bueno. Oh,
Bueno.
bueno. Okay, sorry. That's my tangent on Spain. I could totally talk more, but
Well, we are at 50 minutes. Where did that go?
what?
Wow.
We just crushed out almost an hour.
Well, we
Maybe
crushed
we
it
could-
and we crushed my coffee.
We could do a coffee
I'm
talk
empty.
on our world travels.
That would be a good one.
Spain, all the places you've been.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I got a lot
let's
more that I
see,
could talk
world?
about Spain.
Mine's limited to the United States and Canada.
You traveler.
Hey, you got North America just about covered.
Pretty much.
Oh my gosh.
Been up and down the East Coast, over to the West Coast, Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, see? On a map, that's a lot of
You go
geographical
with that, so.
territory.
Including Vancouver in Canada.
Oh,
Which is not like just going over the Peace Bridge and calling it a day.
It's like a drive.
look, there's something to marking off the states. You know,
There is.
you start mapping all that out, coloring them in. I got to get a map down for that up on my wall.
Also, hint, if any of you want to travel to Europe, fly out of Toronto. It's cheaper.
Yes.
It's all
Like,
true.
substantially.
Yes.
Go out of Toronto.
It's all true.
That's my advice for the day.
It's actually what we're probably going to be doing for World Youth Day.
Let's do it.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in today. And special thank you to Mary.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Mary
Yeah.
Beth! Thanks
Yeah.
for joining us over here.
It's good
Over
to be
in
part
Maui.
of the
In
pair.
Maui.
Yes, good to be here in Maui. Wait till you guys come back to Maui. You're going to see a cleaner Maui.
Smells
gonna be awesome.
nice.
Smells
Did you
fresh.
know that the floor downstairs is supposed to be light gray? That blew my mind.
Yes.
That's nice.
When you go
it's clean.
downstairs, it's actually light gray carpet. Who knew?
We know now.
And I'm sure you'll sleep better tonight knowing that.
Definitely.
Well, Mary Beth, do you want to close this in prayer?
I could do that.
Awesome.
Okay. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks and praise for the gift of this day, the glories of your creation, the bonds of family and friendship. We ask you to bless all those, especially those who are suffering from this COVID-19 illness. Bring peace and comfort to the families of those who have passed away. Be with those who are still struggling through the illness. Help them to feel your peace, your comfort, your love. And bless all of us in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Awesome. And guys,
Peace out.
one last thing. If you have not liked our YouTube channel, our Instagram accounts, St. Greg's Youth,
Or
St. Greg's
subscribed.
Yes, do that.
Smash that.
Also, the
subscribe.
parish Facebook page. Like it all, and you can stay up to date with all the stuff that we have going on. So, we'll
Like
see
it,
you
love
later.
it.
Have a great day.
Bye.